Hi everybody, this is another Flying Rookie video, and this is video number 2 of my F550 Flame Wheel Hexacopter with a DJI NAZA+GPS. Okay, as you can see, there's a big difference right now from this video from my aircraft. If you compare from the previous video, and the big difference is that I did remove the big landing gear that I had with the gimbal camera mount, and the reason of that is I sold that gimbal camera mount to a friend of mine. The problem with that gimbal camera mount is that it was way too large. That gimbal camera mount came with a 700 size Hexacopter, you know, the ATG. So I decided that that was way too big for this. Even it didn't look like that, it was way too big. And you know, after I removed the gimbal with the servo, the gimbal, you know, the gimbal with the landing gear and everything, I decided to weight it. That gimbal camera mount weighs 375 grams, the whole thing. So that was extra 375 grams that this thing was lifting, you know. So for me, that's too much that way. Maybe of the 700 flying, you know, with a 4-cell, you know, 5,000 LiPo would be, you know, nothing for that kind of aircraft. But you know, for this, you know, that's too much weight. So I purchased the landing gear from QUADframes and QUADframes.com, and I purchased the GoPro gimbal camera mount together with the landing gear. So also you can find that same landing gear on RC groups. So I'm gonna go over there, and also when I get it, I'm gonna you know, install it here and everything. Okay, so right now I've got this thing flying with a 5000 ZP 25C 3-cell, and I only can use 3 cells on this aircraft because, like I mentioned in the other video, these motors, even they are more powerful than the DJI motors, and they are a little bit bigger and they are more powerful. They cannot take 4-cell LiPo. So this thing only flies 3 cells. So let's see how it's gonna fly. Right now, this aircraft weighs like around 1,700 grams with, you know, everything I have right now over here. So once I get that landing gear that I'm gonna get, it should the weight should drop to, I mean, it should be, not should drop, it should go up probably like another 250 grams or so. And with the GoPro, maybe the whole thing is gonna weigh close to 2 kilos, you know. So still not that bad, you know, for a 550 Hexacopter. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I made some changes on the information that I had on my NASA assistant software when it comes to the position on my GPS antenna. I asked a fellow YouTuber Nip Nissel about the position of the antenna, how he did it, and he pointed me to a video for some guy, and I checked his video. I decided to keep the antenna in the back. The red arms right now is marking the back. It's not the front, is the white arms over here. So I decided to keep it in the back. So I just did the same measurements. The only difference, because over here it's like in a different what's the name? The measurements are gonna be the same, but I had to put, you know, the plus and the minus, you know, the polarity of the axis. I had to put it accordingly to the position on the antenna. Another thing that I did is that I got the GPS, the arrow of the antenna is not pointing straight, but it's pointing a little bit, you know, like close to like 1 o'clock, you know. So I hope this thing somehow works. So I'm gonna do another calibration. No, there's a lot of Canadian geese over here. Anyway, I'm gonna do another compass calibration since I changed the measurements. But there's one thing that I read when you do the compass calibrations. It's like you have to do in an area, you have to make sure that there's not like a lot of magnetic interference, you know, like, you know, electrical power and everything. I think I'm far enough from the light poles, you know, the electrical poles, so I should be okay. And other things, you got a few keys like I got over here. you have to get rid of the keys, and you got a cell phone, you have to get rid of the cell phone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this thing, you know, behind me a little bit over here. Okay, and I'm gonna turn on my radio, and okay, I'm gonna click yes. Okay, I'm gonna proceed to plug my aircraft. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my aircraft on this corner here, because I want this this area over here with these white lines on the grass, you know, across the shoulder. I want to mark this as the home position. Okay, so now I'm gonna plug the antenna. I mean, not the antenna, the battery. Okay, I gotta wait for the GPS, you know, flight controller to acquire the satellite signal. Okay, so it's flashing, it's on attitude mode, it's flashing yellow and red. So I have to wait until it finishes flashing red, so that way I can proceed to start the GPS antenna calibration. Okay, it's not flashing red anymore, so that means it acquires the satellite. So I'm gonna go to manual, and I'm gonna go like around 10 times. You can do it between 6 or 10 times, you know, switching the 777 switch up and down, and then stop again on manual. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Now, I'm gonna rotate this thing clockwise. Okay, light screen. I'm gonna rotate it clockwise with the front of the aircraft looking down. Okay, apparently the calibration was successful. I'm gonna do something I don't know if it's necessary to do, but I don't know. I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna reboot the flight controller. Okay, it's done. Now let me just get back my phone and my few little keys that I got. Little keys that I got here, and start flying this thing. See, there are people over here playing soccer. I got the train. In heaven. It's the metronaut. And I'm gonna proceed flying this thing. Let me go now to attitude mode, and make sure all the switches are in the default position. And now let's go and fly this thing. It's a little bit breezy. Now I got these soccer players coming my way. Try to stay away from them, but they don't stay away from me. Now the wind is picking up really good. Let me just go and hit this thing on GPS mode. Now I'm on GPS. Still getting the freaking toilet bowl effect. Now trying to fly this aircraft on GPS, it's like driving a car with the e-brake on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just, I mean, maybe it's the wind pushing it away, but the measurements that I did, I didn't work. I found it kind of odd, you know, because they said, you know, right where I got my antenna, it says put it on 7 centimeters. I just turn off the GPS. I'm not back in manual again. Not gonna flip to GPS again. It's on GPS. I don't know, this thing is weird sometimes. Now he's staying there pretty much. It's not moving around or anything. I don't know, it's weird, this GPS thing. Now let me just get out of GPS. Now I'm in manual again. I'm gonna try to return to home. Onto GPS again, and now I'm gonna click return to home. I just hope this guy doesn't go stupid. And I hate when people run toward. Okay, that's doing the return to home thing. That's going up. I see the Canadian geese. They saw the aircraft and they're freaking out. Okay. All right. He did a little bit of now he's acquiring the position. Then as soon as he acquires the position, he's gonna start coming down. But I think this thing is not. Okay, he's coming down. Let's see, he's down. He's supposed to land like within 10 feet from the place where he first took off. Well, wow. It looks like it's gonna almost hit bullseye. Oh, look. He thinks he's a kangaroo. Okay, he gave up. Alright, I mean, it was weird. That's the jumpings that he did. I think those measurements that the second set of measurements that I did, he just made this thing fly worse. Anyway, the home position was right there, right here in this corner over here, and he's probably like 6 feet away, so it's not that bad. I heard, you know, that this is like a margin error of like around 10 feet, so that's acceptable. But these settings that I did, it's like when I compare it to the real measurements that I did with my measuring tape, the measurements that I wrote from the video that NAZA recommended to me, they are like 2 centimeters off from what I measure. My understanding is that when you measure like I said, this is the back of the aircraft. When you measure the axis from the center, okay, that would be the center from this axis over here, you know, the axis that goes from back to front, and then this would be the center, obviously, from the other axis that goes from side to side. I believe that you have to do the measurements according to the position where the stem of the antenna is positioned. So this is the stem. So these measurements that I saw on the video that was recommended to me, the measurement is like 2 centimeters off on both ways. You know, it's like they measure the antenna position according to the perimeter of the antenna. So they start measuring from here to here and from here to the side, and that made no sense. So supposedly it's like 2 centimeters instead of being 4 centimeters. That's why I measure, because I measure it from the stem. It's 4 centimeters to measure this axis, and then from here to here I think it was 9 centimeters, and this guy from this video, he measured 7 centimeters. So it's like he measured from, like I said, from the perimeter of the antenna, you know, from the edge of the antenna to the to here, you know, to where the battery is, And then he measured the z-axis, that is the height. That one is 10 centimeters, and you got to put it minus 10 centimeters. But in a way, it kind of made no sense, in my opinion. It's like, it's the one that I would say is right is the one that's the high. But the ones that they are, you know, from the center, you know, to the X and the Y axis, those ones that don't make no sense. So this thing was flying better the way I had it before, and that's the one I get home, because I don't have my computer with me. When I get home, I'm gonna put it the way it was. So I'm just gonna continue flying this thing until I kill the battery. So let me get out of attitude mode and then just fly on line of sight. Now I feel that this thing, when I fly it with the wing, since it doesn't have the landing gear underneath, you know, to give it some weight, you know, it kind of, you know, it fights a little bit with the wind more than the way it was before. Okay, so let's go up again. I say flying, but I'm not technically flying, I'm just hovering mostly. I'm curious with this 5000, what kind of flying time I'm gonna get with this. I will fly the aircraft behind me, but the sun is coming down and it's gonna blind me. You know, it's really tough, you know. That's the downside of all these multi-rotors, is the freaking, it's so hard to, you know, figure out the orientation with them. You know, even if you got the arms in one color, it's not, these arms, you know, it's not like a bright, I mean the white is white, but the red, they should have make it with a, you know, like a bright red or something like that. Now I put it on GPS mode, and again it's doing this little crazy, well actually it's staying there, kinda. I know the wing tried to push it away a little bit, but it's still doing the toilet bowl. So like I said, this thing was flying better the way I had it before, and probably that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set it up my way, because apparently my way was the right way. But I don't know, it's kind of a mystery. Now he's working right. You know, this thing is like he got a mind on his own. Oh, the train again. Got a mind on his own sometimes, you know. I only have one aircraft that I got the GPS to get it to fly perfect. Somehow I did let me wait for the train. Somehow I find the sweet spot, you know, where when it comes to the settings, and that thing was working beautiful. And it was my HITEC FPV quadcopter that I also got the NAZA+GPS. I managed to set up that thing so freaking perfect. It was working nice. You know, it was working the way by the book. Everything was supposed to do, it was supposed to do it. And I got these people going crazy with the soccer game. And you see, I start doing again the freaking toilet bowl effect thing. Just get our GPS. I gotta be careful when I decide to fly this thing on FPV, because I know that, you know, the NASA, you know, favorite way. Oh, I went to 8 minutes of flying time already. The NASA has been notorious that if you fly aggressive on attitude mode, the damn thing is gonna like go to angle lock. It's gonna go out of control because the gyros are gonna get confused. you know, this flight controller doesn't have only the 3 basic gyros that you fly on any flight controller. You got 6 gyros. You got the basic ones that are yaw, roll, pitch, and then also you got 2 gyros that are for attitude and 1 that's for vertical. Okay, those ones I believe are the ones that work with the barometer and the auto stabilization on the aircraft. Okay, so I believe the auto stabilization, it kinda, you know, this thing is a communication that happens in, you know, in split seconds, you know. When you try to compensate to keep the aircraft level when you fly aggressive, you know, like doing, you know, like sharp turns and stuff like that, it will make the NASA, all the gyros, you know, they sort of this way, they get lost in translation, you know, between the communication that they try to have in between each other, and it goes to a point that the freaking aircraft just get confused and then just go on angle lock, and unless you get lucky or something, it's guaranteed it's gonna crash to something. I got some guy that I know, I posted a video on my channel, and the video's named 2 different quadcopter crashes in one day. And on the second crash, he was flying aggressive, his F450, and he went on angle lock and he crashed in a parking lot. Okay, so that's the name of the video on my channel. And this guy almost, you know, he was lucky that he didn't hit somebody, you know, when he was coming down, or he didn't hit a car, because he crashed on the parking lot. And there were people in another field next to the field where we were flying, you know, using flying I mean, they were playing soccer just like these people over here. So my advice to you guys is, like, if you're flying attitude mode, take it nice and slow, don't make sharp turns or any craziness, because that might happen to you. If you want to fly crazy, then go to manual. Just make sure you don't do any kind of sharp, you know, don't go all the way with the sticks, because when you fly a manual, it's like flying in 3D. So this thing's gonna do flips in the air and everything, and you don't want that. Especially if you got a gimbal camera mount, you know, in the bottom. And I don't see hexacopters to be the appropriate aircraft to do 3D. I think if you want to do 3D, you want to do it on a quadcopter. You know, like the F450, I think that's the way it is. Now, my theory about when you get, you know, that problem when the NASA just go crazy and wants to, you know, you lose control because of the issue with the gyros, you know, the angle lock. I think the only way you can get off of that is that you will have to you know, switch off from attitude mode to manual mode. And if you do that, I believe what it's going to do is it's going to turn off the barometer and the stabilization gyros, and then your NASA is going to work on strictly on the 3 basic gyros. And when you accomplish that, then that will probably stop the aircraft to, you know, keep going and crash into something. I saw a few videos already on YouTube. Besides the video that I have, I saw all the videos of all the people doing the same thing. I see the police. So I guess that's the only thing you guys can do to avoid that. Another thing that you can do probably is if you hit the return to home switch, you know, that will go on fail-safe. Somehow might stop it. But if you go to fail-safe, the aircraft is still going to have the barometer and it's going to still have the attitude gains activated. So I don't know if that thing really going to stop it. So I think my best guess is going to manual mode. If you feel like your aircraft is self-responding, it's going on the dive, you know, to depth, then go to attitude mode. I think that's the only way you can prevent, you know, your aircraft to crash and hit something, or even worse, hit somebody. And you know, this guy that I know, he was really lucky that he didn't, you know, hit somebody, because That thing looks like a freaking missile. The way that thing, you know, came down. So you check that video, guys. You're gonna, you know, it's gonna make you think, you know, about this flight controller. Other than that, this flight controller is awesome. You know, it's so easy to fly. You know, it's amazing. Let me go to GPS mode real quick. Okay, I'm got so far 30 minutes on flying time with a 5,000 3 cell on this aircraft. So let me see if I can make it to 15. I'm going to GPS again, and he's doing again the toilet bowl thing, I think. Yeah, he's doing it. I guess I got, like I said, I gotta put this thing the way it was before. It's not doing it as bad as before, but nevertheless, it's doing it. I guess that my settings, they were better. Oh, LiPo alarm is kicking in, so let me just land it. Okay. So I went almost to 14 minutes, so I got 13 minutes and 56 seconds. That's not that bad for a 3 cell. That's not that bad. I can't complain. Maybe when I put the gimbal, because I'm gonna add more weight and all the FPV stuff, I might lose like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of flying time. As long as I get 10 minutes with 1 minute spare, I'm gonna hit the mark. But the nice thing is that this thing, I'm not only gonna fly it on you know, with just this single 5,000. Probably I'm gonna put 2 3300s, or maybe I'll buy a single 6400 3 cell. I saw one on Hobby King that is I think it's like 40C 3 cell 6400, and I think that one costs like $50 or something like that. And actually that battery is meant to be used on trackless vehicles because it got a trackless connector. It's a nanotech, but it got the red label. It doesn't have the typical green label that you see in all the nanotechs. So you got the red label, and it's one of these batteries that you would buy if you got, you know, like a trackless / forward drive or something like that. You know, like a vehicle that you can accommodate, you know, really fat, large batteries, you know, 3 cell batteries. So, and it will give you a lot of running time and everything. So that's the battery I probably are gonna buy here. But I also got a 2 4000s, you know, those nanotechs, the same one that they are meant to be used on trackless. I got 4 3300s, so I could try 2 3300s over here on parallel and see if I can get, you know, once I get the gimbal and everything, I'm gonna see if I can get, you know, like 15 minutes with all the equipment mounted and see how it goes. Now let me feel the motors and see. They're hot. They are completely and totally cold. It's like if I never flew this aircraft. It's amazing. I love these motors. These motors are so great. Oh, I dropped the phone. These motors are so freaking great. I'm really pleased with these KEDA motors, and I'm happy that I didn't purchase any expensive motors, you know, like I try to, let me just turn this thing off. I'm trying to, you know, buy quality stuff or not quality stuff that would break the bank, you know. And for me, the only reason that stopped me to buy the DJI motors, not because they are a little bit smaller than this one, it's because those motors don't only work, you know, they got, you know, like a fat propeller mount that's 8 millimeters, and since I only use APC props, the APC props, they are 7 millimeters. I know people that use the Grumper props, that they are great, or Graupner or something like that, but you know what, APC for me is the best value. It's it's a band, you know, the best band for the buck when it comes to props. They are quality props and they work great. The other thing is these motors, they are more powerful than the motors that the DJI motors anyway. This one's the propeller adapter is 5mm, so since these props they come with 5mm adapters, you know, that just fit the, you know, my requirements. So then you have to, you know, pick those ground per props. But I'm gonna tell you guys, if you guys decide to fly this thing with original motors, either this one or the 450 or the 330, just use the ground per props, don't use the factory props, because, you know, while DJI is awesome, it's a great company, it makes, you know, a lot of high quality products, but they didn't do their homework when it comes to the props. They got the worst, one of the worst props available on the market, you know. And I saw so many people, you know, crashing their, you know, fan wheels because the freaking props, they snap in midair. Another thing that you can do is you want to use these APCs on your DJI motors. If you know how to rim, you know, the hub to make it bigger, the hole, you can do that. Something fall off. So try to get the, yeah, I got him underneath a tree and he's dropping fruit or whatever. So just try to do that. Just buy ground per, I mean, just buy like a prop rimmer, a metric prop rimmer, and just rim the prop. But just make sure that you do it right, because if you don't do it right, you're gonna ruin the prop. Okay, so that's one thing that I advise you guys to do. Okay, so this is the end of video number 2 of my F450. So please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, favorite this video, and share this video with others. Okay, have a good one. And also, just to let you guys know, I subs to any person that subs to me. Okay, so I always subs back. I always do that. Some people don't do that, and I don't see why not. You know, this is a big, you know, multi-brother community, and I like to be hooked up with any person that shares the same passion that I got with the aircrafts that I fly. You know, so yeah, I subs. You guys subs to me, I sub back. I always do that. Okay, we're here to help each other. Okay, so thanks for watching. Bye.